And we're down the road. How are you? Happy Tuesday, the 31st day of December 2019. It's the last day of the year. It's the last day of the decade. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Is it me or the decades going faster now than they were when I was younger? That 10-year period just seemed to have flown by. Good to have you. Lots of things going on today. We normally don't promise you a five-star show on Tuesdays, and we're happy just to have a show on the air on Tuesdays, quite frankly. But this is different. It's New Year's Eve. We got tomorrow off. We can stay up tonight and enjoy the festivities and ring in a new decade and a new year at midnight. I won't be. Midnight, I haven't seen midnight in I don't know how long. It's somehow or another along the way of my adulthood. I just don't. I'll be happy if I get up tomorrow morning. We'll leave it at that. But we're here, and we're going to put together a pretty good show for you. We got news, of course. We got sports coming your way. Everything else you're used to. An opinion from Mike McNaughty. We got some celebrity birthdays, including a local celebrity celebrating a birthday tomorrow. We have the obscure holiday. We got today in history. And because it is New Year's Eve, I want to replay the interview that we did last week with Leslie Freitag of the Pybus Public Market and Carol Andre from Wenatchee Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services. Of course, they dropped the apple at Pybus tonight. Pybus will be open till past midnight. They got some new things going on this year. A lot of restaurants will be open. They're doing 2 ball drops, one at 9 o'clock for those people who simply aren't going to be able to make it up to midnight, so you can celebrate on the East Coast if you want to by an apple drop at Pybus at 9 o'clock, and then at midnight proper here on the Pacific time zone. So good conversation with Leslie and Carol. You're going to like it. And everything else you're used to. We're in for some very mild weather to ring in the new year. Forecast details are right around the corner. But first, a couple minutes after the hour, we always begin with our tour around the valley with our Valley View cameras, our PTZ cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. Cross camera is tilted up but zoomed back a little bit. The cross camera adjacent to the iconic cross at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights. That's an incredible view there. Now the camera is an incredible camera. It's a 4K camera, but it really doesn't do that view justice. It's just one of the great things about being a Sky-Fi tech. One of those guys who work for the company has to go out and maintain these sites. They get to enjoy views like this with their own 2 eyes as opposed to just a high definition camera. Yeah, it's spectacular. And think about it, if we didn't have these incredible views, if we didn't live in this beautiful area, geographically speaking, we wouldn't have these kinds of incredible views that we get from the Sky-Fi towers and the PTZ cameras on those towers. Good morning, Wenatchee. We're under cloudy skies and 30 degrees. By the way, sunrise this morning, once again, 7:48. Sunrise hasn't changed much in the last week or so. It's the sunsets that are getting a little bit later. The sun will go down at 4:20 this afternoon. That means 8 hours and 32 minutes of daylight here for the last day of the decade. Camera number 2 is Megan's choice. I don't know. She throws them up, and I have to guess. That looks an awful lot like Apple Annie's. Am I correct? I got one right. Good way to start the last show of the year. That is the Apple Annie's camera. So we're looking, obviously, at Kashmir, and that's the camera that we used yesterday with that structure fire that occurred about this time yesterday morning out there in Kashmir. We'll have more on that when we get to the news. So good morning to our friends in Kashmir. You can see the Wenatchee River where it slices through, divides Kashmir from one side to the other. Camera number 3. Oh, it's snowing at Valley High. Valley High on the way up to Blewett Pass. That's kind of cool. I like that. I feel like it's I'm trying to describe that view. There's no way to describe it. It's just neat. That's the Valley High camera. It is, by the way, snowing on Blewett Pass and on Stevens Pass. They're going to get some snow today, by the way, but it's going to switch over to rain later on. If you're traveling today, the later on in the day, the better off you are. If you're traveling over the mountain passes, we'll give you those details as well. Good morning to our friends at Valley High. And camera number, are we up to camera 4 already, or is this camera 3? I've lost track. That's camera 4, and I'm going to say Rude Canyon. Hey, Megan likes that camera. I don't know why. I'll ask her. She seems to be. It's true, yeah. That's, as Megan says, it's light enough up there so we can actually see stuff at the top of Rude Canyon. I've met many people who live up there at Rude Canyon. They're not rude. They're quite nice indeed. So that's the top of Rude Canyon, which is spelled R-U-U-D, I believe. So good morning to Rude Canyon. We're the #1 rated show, by the way, local television show, weekdays from 7 to 8 in the greater Root Canyon area. It's something we're quite proud of. 6 minutes after the hour. From Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and they're going to give your home a hug. What's the National Weather Service say we're in store of? Well, a little on the active side. The forecast has changed a little bit. What happened is the system that's coming into our area is kind of looping around the area. It's hitting the Cascades. It's going up and around into southern British Columbia and then dumping back down on far eastern Washington and the northern Idaho area. So we're not looking too bad. A little bit of rain and a little bit of snow this morning. And then it's going to switch over to all rain this afternoon, and it's going to be warm. So whatever snow we're going to get, first of all, whatever snow we're going to get is going to be wet snow, lots of water content in the snow. It's going to be gone by the end of the day today with a high of 38. So we're going to get a little bit of snow, less than half an inch. In fact, we have a graphic. Thank you very much, Megan. Throw you. So there you go, less than an inch here in the Wenatchee Valley for snowfall today. As you can see by what I just talked about, the snow is going to be limited really to the upper Cascades, and even then, the snow level is going to be up quite a bit. And then out in the Spokane area, the Coeur d'Alene area, and the Idaho Panhandle. For us here in the Wenatchee Valley and out in the Columbia Basin, just a little bit of snow, whatever we get, going to be gone, of course, by the end of the week. So a rain-snow mix, and then all rain in the afternoon. We'll top off at 38. Rain tonight, it should taper off about 10 or 11 o'clock. Lots of clouds, 35 for the overnight low, so it's going to be very mild tonight. Look at New Year's Day. Mostly sunny, a little bit of rain. Most of the rain would be, they tell us, in the morning hours, a high of 45 degrees on New Year's Day, and it's going to be windy. Well, breezy anyway. West wind about 14 to 18 miles an hour, and just a little bit of light rain expected. So that's a very mild start to the new year. Wednesday night, snow level goes down to 1,000 feet, but there's no real precipitation out there. So if anything, they think it may be rain. But even that, probably not going to happen Wednesday night, 28 for the overnight low. Thursday, snow level will be about 1,600 feet, partly sunny skies, high of about 38 degrees. Again, just a little bit of light snow possible on Thursday night, mostly cloudy, about a 60% chance of precipitation. A little bit of light snow Thursday night into Friday. That's it. Whatever we get is going to be gone. Snow level goes up quite high. We'll top off at 42 on Friday again. So whatever snow we get is not going to last very long. And then into the weekend we go. Let's take a look at the weekend because we can. Saturday, chance of snow, just a slight chance. Again, high of 42 on Saturday, 40 degrees on Sunday, 40 degrees on Monday. A very warm start to a new year. And by the way, there is some snow expected in the Cascades both today and tomorrow, and then again into the weekend with a little break in between. Speaking of that, let's take you up to the major mountain passes, the latest from the DOT. That's a live shot of Snoqualmie where you have no advisories and no restrictions. The roadway is bare and wet. It's raining with a little bit of a rain-snow mix right at the summit of I-90. By the way, most of the snow is coming down on the west side of the Cascade Lee, in case you're curious there. Stevens Pass, traction tires are advised. We got some snow and slush on the roadway. It is snowing with some areas of freezing rain. It's 30 degrees here on the valley floor. It's 30 degrees at the summit of Stevens Pass, which of course is about 4,000 feet in elevation. So a traction tire advisory there. Blue Pass has a traction tire advisory. As I mentioned earlier, the roadway is bare and wet. It is snowing with a little bit of freezing rain mixed in with the snow. Now the forecast for the mountain passes today, about 3 to 7 inches of snow. Most of the snow will come down in the morning. Later on in the afternoon hours, say 3 or 4 o'clock, right around sunset tonight in the mountain passes, it's going to warm up rather dramatically, and that snow that they're getting now is going to switch over to just plain rain. But they're going to get anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 inches of snow before it switches over to rain later on this afternoon. If you're traveling tonight, an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain. Most of that will be in the overnight hours. On New Year's Day, 5 to 9 inches of rain in the mountain passes is going to be a distinct possibility. We're going to be windy here on the valley floor on New Year's Day, Wednesday, tomorrow. It's going to be windy up in the major mountain passes as well. So we're looking at 3 to 5 inches of snow today, most of it coming down right now. About 3 to 5 inches of snow tonight with a little period of a rain-snow mix. On New Year's Day, about 5 to maybe even 8 or 9 inches of snow. It tapers off on Wednesday night, and then just a little bit of snow possible on Thursday and Thursday night before more snow comes into the mountain passes on the weekend. So to recap, traction tires are advised on Stevens and Blewett. No advisories on I-90. I-90 is getting a rain-snow mix. Stevens and Blewett is getting a freezing rain and a snow mix. So if you can put it off later on, on your commute. I'm talking about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You should be better off. Should switch over to a rain-snow mix and just rain, and of course also get the plows a chance to get ahead of the game a little bit. 11 minutes after the hour, I'm going to take a break and come back with your Tuesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we're live this morning from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
Winter is here, and CVCH wants to give your child a free sled to help them stay active. This January, plan to join us for a free event for the whole family. Free sleds, hot chocolate, and fun. For complete details, visit the CVCH Facebook page or check us out at cvchchillout.com.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, 12 minutes after the hour. Overcast skies, 30 degrees. A little bit of a rain-snow mix expected this morning. It'll switch over to all rain this afternoon, and an afternoon high near 40 with lots of sunshine and highs in the mid-40s on New Year's Day. Here's what's making headlines. Police say a homeless man openly carried knives and made statements to a Wenatchee security guard that implied a threat. Justin Fajardo, who's 25 years old, he's in jail. He's cited with unlawful display of weapons. He allegedly approached a security guard outside of Worthing Avenue Business Park late Friday, carrying 2 exposed blades, and he asked, quote, "How would you feel if I chased you?" End quote. The charge is a misdemeanor. Fajardo faces arraignment 1 week from today. Well, a structure fire in the Cashmere area on Monday morning destroyed a small shed that was being used as a residential dwelling. Fire Chief Phil Mosier says the fire was located on Weather Inn Drive near the city cemetery. He says neighbors called 911 about, they spotted the fire at about 6 o'clock, called authorities there. Mosier says the structure was fully engulfed in flames. When crews arrived, he said the 20-foot by 20-foot shed was not occupied at the time that the fire started. He says there were no injuries and the cause is under investigation. Well, if you live in Wenatchee, don't make fireworks part of your New Year's celebration, or you'll be starting off 2020 by breaking the law. Wenatchee's ban on personal fireworks, passed in 2016, went into effect in June of 2017. It makes it a misdemeanor to light off personal fireworks year-round, including New Year's Eve. Now, personal fireworks are allowed in East Wenatchee and Douglas County, but only between 6 o'clock tonight to 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. The state fire marshal also reminds residents that do light fireworks tonight to keep all pets indoors and protected. Light only 1 firework at a time. Never try to relight a firework that failed to light, and never light fireworks when under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Well, it's that time of the year. If your Christmas tree is shedding needles around the living room, this might be fine time to give your Christmas tree a new home. From January 4th through January 11th, you can drop off your Christmas tree for recycling with the Boy Scouts at the Stemilt Organic Center in Wenatchee. In western Chelan County's Apple Maggot Quarantine Zone, the brush site at Icicle Road and East Leavenworth Road will accept Christmas trees January 3rd and 4th. And the Chelan area, drop off your trees at Don Morse Park for the Chelan Winterfest bonfire, which happens on January 18th. The Chelan County Public Works Department has details. You can give them a call. They're good folks there, 667-6415. Well, Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz says he's open to the idea of establishing a city manager position to replace executive director's job. Of course, the former executive services director was Allison Williams, who resigned her position and has accepted a new job as city manager in Moses Lake. Mayor Kuntz appeared this week on In Focus with our host, our special news correspondent, Steve Hare. And the mayor tells Steve that replacing Williams is going to be his top priority going into the new year.
So we will start a process, I think, sometime in January. we have a couple of ideas on some folks, and we may be doing a couple little internal things, and at some point, hopefully by mid-January, we'll either have someone in that spot or we'll have a process in place to put that together. So
now, prior to Allison's being hired by the city, I think we had Gary Tomzik, who was the city administrator at the time. We did have a city manager.
Yep.
Why don't we go forward in that direction?
So I think we might. To me, that's really sort of a city council call, and I will meet with the council members. As Allison has left, and quite frankly, she ran sort of as the city administrator, although, again, all the department heads reported to me, not her, which is different in Moses Lake than here. And so I think we've just started to have this discussion about, are we to the point where we would have a city administrator again and have all the department heads report to that person, and then the mayor would probably take a reduction in pay, yet be involved more in policy issues and more involved in Olympia and other sorts of places, and less sort of, not day-to-day hands-on, but I let the department heads sort of run, and we meet with each of them very regularly. But so I think there's a chance that we'll go that direction. I'm getting inaugurated here for my third four-year term in about a half an hour, and I think over the next couple of years we'll talk about what that might look like. And then if the council wants to, it's already sort of in the city code, but if they say, yeah, Mayor, we want you to do that, then we'll stick it in a budget at some point and sort of look at that direction. So I think there's sort of I go back and forth. There's times when I go, this is probably the right thing to do, and there's times when I go, yeah, but I want the chief of police to report to me, or I want the public works director to report to me, or some of those sorts of things that I think people sort of expect. So I sort of go back and forth on it. I think we'll study it over the next couple of years, and I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly, if we have a city administrator or that we don't, but we will study it.
And that's what's making headlines on this Tuesday morning. We'll have a newscast tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Grant is taking the day off. Good for Grant. He gets a 2-day middle of the week weekend. That doesn't make any sense. Jefferson Robbins will be filling in, but with a preview, here's Grant.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, Eric Granstrom will have a look at your New Year North Central Washington weather forecast. Eric will also have a look at all the day's sports action, all the day's news, and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. We appreciate it. You want to be a part of the news team? Well, you don't get paid, but we still appreciate it. If you have a news tip out there, if you just want to drop us a line and say hi, we'd love to hear from you. There are any number of ways for you to do it. You can go to our Facebook page, drop us a line there on the Facebook Messenger. Be sure to like us while you're hanging around. In fact, if you just look at the bottom of your screen, that's all the different ways that we've made it available for you to get a hold of us. Our Facebook page, our website has a contact us icon. You can email us news at ncwlife.com. We have a Twitter handle, and we have a telephone, by golly. We have about 20 of them, last I checked. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. Going to take a break, come back. With sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion, and we invite you to celebrate New Year's Eve tonight at the Pybus Public Market. My conversation with Leslie Freitag and Carol Andre. You're watching a New Year's Eve edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
When it comes to our community, you can count on Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram to be invested. From supporting community college scholarships through a concert series or participating in a local high school homecoming event, Town Chrysler has always put the community first. Buying local supports the jobs and programs you care about most. When it comes time to buy your next new or used car, SUV, or truck, remember, there's no reason to leave town.
Local breweries are on a row in Wenatchee. Brewers Row, that is. Start with Wenatchee Valley Brewing Company near Riverside 9 Apartments. Continue south down Riverside Drive to Columbia Valley Brewing. Then it's off to Badger Mountain Brewing on the corner of Arrondo and Columbia Streets. Further south on Columbia is 509 Beer Works. Each has its own charm, unique menu, and some of the best locally made brew around. Find it all on Brewers Row along the waterfront in downtown Wenatchee.
We're back 20 minutes after the hour. Happy New Year to you and yours. Let's do sports to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard. Big old prep hoops from last night. The Eastmont Wildcats had a doubleheader. The Eastmont's boys basketball team survived a 41-point performance by Evan Nomi of Rogers of Spokane. They won on the road, 77-69. The Wildcats were led by the 24 points of Evan Smith and 22 from Isaac Wellborn. Eastmont improved to 4-4 overall with the win. They're off until Friday when they travel down to Pasco. In the girls' game, Eastmont held Rogers to single digits in all 4 quarters, and they won 59-28. The Wildcats were led by the 13 points of Jaden Brown and 11 from Megan Chandler. It was Eastmont's first win of the year for the girls' team. They hope to build on that momentum when they take on Pasco on Friday. The prep calendar goes dark for a couple of days. They don't fire up until Friday, but no games to go to today, but we'll have a lot of games for you to watch on television here on the NCAA Live channel, or as we like to say in the business, TV. We're going back to January 8th of 2018. We weren't around in 2009. We're going back to January 8th of 2018. Tonight is Wenatchee hosts Davis and Big Nine Wrestling. Hockey night Thursday features Powell River at Wenatchee from December 21st. On Friday, we have a game from last February between the Wenatchee boys and the Moses Lake Chiefs. If you missed it last weekend, we're going to rebroadcast the Wenatchee versus Eastmont girls bowling match. We'll do that this Saturday at 1 o'clock, and then on Saturday night, it's the Wenatchee girls and Eisenhower from last year. By the way, we're back live broadcast on the NCAA Live channel come January 10th. We'll be at the Town Theater Center triple header. Wenatchee and Eastmont will face off. We'll got the Unified game, then the girls game, then the boys game. Again, we're back to live basketball come January 10th right here for your home for local sports, and that's us, the NCAA Live channel. College football bowl season continues today. 5 games on tap. It gets underway this morning with the Belk Bowl. That's Virginia Tech and Kentucky. That's 9 a.m. on ESPN. Belk is a chain of department stores based in Charlotte. That's where they play the game. Florida State and Arizona State follow at 11 on CBS. It's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. It'll be great. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl kicks off next at 12:45 in beautiful Memphis. That's Navy and Kansas State. If you have the CBS Sports Network, I don't. You get to watch Wyoming and Georgia State. I'll be missing that in the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl. And finally, Utah will take on Texas. This will be a good one. The Alamo Bowl in beautiful San Antonio, 4:30 on ESPN. And then after your revelry of the new year tonight, 4 more bowls tomorrow, of course, highlighted by the Rose Bowl, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Number 6, Oregon. Number 8, Wisconsin. The Pac-12, by the way, is 2-2 so far in bowl games. Cal won last night. They beat Illinois at Santa Clara, 35-20. So there you go. Pete Carroll met with reporters yesterday afternoon. He always has a Monday afternoon press conference at the Seahawks practice facility in beautiful Renton. He said he's glad to have another game to focus on rather than having to go back and think about their heartbreaking loss on Sunday night.
We were fortunate going into the game that we're going to be playing this next week, and there was some, obviously differences in the outcome of the game. We'd be playing here versus playing on the road, and all that. But we're thrilled about getting going again and getting after this playoff thing and see how far we can go with it. And we anticipate, we're going to be on the road, and that's something that we've done really well, and we're going to try to handle that really well.
Pete Carroll told the press the best news going forward is that the Seahawks still have a running game despite the fact that they've had injuries to their top 2 running backs.
I thought Travis Homer played great football for us. He looked good in all phases, run and pass throughout the game, consistent. You can see how aggressive he is, and you can see the burst that he has, and the toughness that he brings as well. He's not quite as big as some of the other guys we've played with, but he runs just as hard or harder than anybody we have, and you can feel him, and that's kind of what we like, in our running backs. The kind of guys you can feel their intensity and the tenacity that they bring. It was a game that lets us look down the road now with Marshawn coming and helping us out, and did well. He came out of the game very healthy, at least today he is, and he contributed, and so that gives us really a really good 1-2 punch with he and Homer running the football in the playoffs. And there was last week we didn't know where we were going to be, but we feel like we have style and a way to go about it.
It's the Seahawks and the Eagles at Philadelphia, the NFC wildcard playoff Sunday at 1:40. You can watch the game on NBC. Going back to Sunday's loss, in the play before the last play, there appeared to be a pass interference call that didn't get called. Now, following last year's NFC Championship game, you remember what happened? There was that controversial no pass interference call between New Orleans and the Rams, they changed the rules, the NFL did, to allow reviews on pass interference. So this season, a coach could challenge a pass interference call outside the final 2 minutes of each half, but if there was a pass interference call that could be reviewed inside the final 2 minutes, that would be done by the NFL's technical folks in New York City. Following Sunday's game, in which Jacob Hollister appeared to be interfered with by a San Francisco linebacker, the NFL came out and said, in fact, they did review the play and they decided there was not any pass interference on that particular play. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll says there's a fundamental problem with any replay and that it depends on the television's broadcast's ability or lack thereof to actually show it.
I don't mind saying that the system is based on the television replays. You know what New York has to do with it. On the field, it hasn't been any different. It's been very similar. The officials they've called the season just like they've always called it, and then they've left the next level of the decision making up to what's going on in New York. And you know, I can't imagine if we want to work to make this thing as good as it can possibly be that we should be victim sometimes to what the TV copy has, as opposed to all the other angles that we could present. I think the coach's copy, along with the TV copy of a play that was in question in this game, can be aided by seeing, you know, when the ball came out from the side view, and so that they can make a determination of, you know, where was the ball and the flight and the action and how that all happened. And so I think that there's advances yet to go to make it even better. If we're going to rely on, you know, an outside source to factor in, I think we should give them everything that's available, not just what happens to be on the broadcast that day and they got a good shot of it or they didn't. And so there's a lot of, and I know they're talking about that kind of stuff too, but we need to keep working at it if we're going to go this way.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, instant replay in sports, just get rid of it. Anytime you remove a human element from a human, it's a human endeavor. It's incapable of being perfect. They should stop anyway. It'll be a well-called game, we hope, Sunday in Philadelphia. That's my commentary on that anyway, 28 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday. There's nothing obscure about New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve, thanks to the Gregorian calendar, which we all enjoy. Of course, it's the time of the year when people get together and they say goodbye to the previous year, welcome in the new year, we hope with optimism and hope for great things. People have a tendency to overindulge themselves on food and adult beverages. Different countries celebrate New Year's Eve in different ways. Probably the most iconic celebration, of course, in this country is the famous ball drop in Times Square in New York City. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. In Germany, today is known as St. Sylvester Day, and it's a huge party. Millions of people crowd along the huge boulevard in downtown Berlin. They have live music acts, they have disc jockeys, fireworks, light shows, and so on. And in Iceland, they light off 500 tons of fireworks, probably because it's in Iceland. There's nothing better to do. Happy New Year's Eve. Make it a safe one. All right. 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history. It is New Year's Eve, and it was 112 years ago today that the very first New Year's Eve celebration was held in Times Square in Midtown Manhattan. It wasn't called Times Square back in 1907. Can't remember what it was called. They didn't change the name of Times Square to Times Square until the New York Times moved their headquarters there a few years later. About 200,000 people attended the very first celebration back in 1907. Something like 3.5 million attend the big ball drop now, but it happened for the first time in Times Square, New York, on this date back in 1907. December 31st, 1967, 52 years ago today, the Ice Bowl. The Green Bay Packers defeat the Dallas Cowboys 21-17. Here's the film. Now, when you talk, of course, about the Ice Bowl, you must talk about, in very reverent tones, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. It was 15 degrees below zero with the wind chill factored in. It was 48 degrees below zero, and the Cowboys, with 16 seconds left to go, backed up against the goal line. Bostar running over Jerry Kramer for the eventual game-winning touchdown. It was a really cold day in Green Bay, one of the most legendary football games ever played. Green Bay wins the NFC Championship. They went on to win their second Super Bowl A couple weeks later in Miami, where it was considerably warmer, here's the famous block. Jerry Kramer blows those guys away, Bart Starr into the end zone. By the way, no television copy of that exists. No complete telecast is known to exist. For whatever reason, CBS erased the television tape a couple of days later, because that's what they did back in 1967, 1968. Videotape was expensive. After the game was over, they figured it was a live football game, so they would just erase the tape and use it again. Oops. The Ice Bowl happened 52 years ago today, and the Fog Bowl happened 31 years ago today. I remember this very well. December 31st, 1988, the Fog Bowl. Here you go. It was a beautiful day in Chicago. First round of the NFC playoff between the Bears and the Eagles at Soldier Field before they completely remodeled and renovated. Look at that. Beautiful day. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures. Chicago with the opening drive drove right down the field. The touchdown pass there. Things were looking good. And again, this is early on. This is the first quarter. And then, well, the fog started to roll in, and it started to get a little thicker and a little thicker. For the cameras, for CBS, it got harder and harder to see, especially the upper cameras, the cameras in the skywalks that give you the view of the game. So they had to switch to some of the lower cameras to peer through the fog. The people in the stands couldn't see anything. Eventually, the people on television couldn't see anything. We're pretty sure that was a tipped pass and an interception. The announcers for the game couldn't call the game from the press box because they couldn't see anything. They had to call the game with whatever the feed they were getting. Look at that. They're going to kick a field goal. Is it good? I don't know. The famous Fog Bowl. 65,534 fans at Soldier Field got to see the game. Well, they didn't really get to see the game. Chicago won, so we're told. Anyway, the Fog Bowl happened on this day back in 1988. Finally, at 32 minutes after the hour, got some birthdays. One of the legendary military figures in this country's history, General George Marshall. Born in this state in 1880, passed away in 1959 at the age of 78. FDR's right-hand military man. During World War II, a five-star general, the very first five-star general. Army Chief of Staff during World War II. Eventually would serve as Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. The famous Marshall Plan, the relief plan for Europe after the end of World War II, was named after him. A great American, a great man, George Marshall, born in this state in 1880. Husky football legend Don James, still known as the Dog Father, was born in this state in 1932. We lost Don James, 5-6 years ago from cancer at the age of 80. Still the most legendary Husky football coach of them all. Inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame back in 1997. 4 times a Rose Bowl champion. Won the 1985 Orange Bowl. Was the 1991 National Championship coach. 110-5. He went 10-5 in bowl games. National Coach of the Year in 1977, 1984, and 1991. The Dog Father, Don James, born in the state in 1932. Anthony Hopkins. He's got an Oscar award on his mantle for Silence of the Lambs. He was good in that movie, wasn't he? He's Welsh by birth, by the way. He's 82 years old today. Also remains of the day, Nixon, Armistead, Westworld, Anthony Hopkins. He's still working, even though he doesn't really have to. He's 82 years old today. And tomorrow, Des McPherson celebrates birthday. Des is the dad of my producer, my favorite teammate here at the NCW Life Channel, Megan. So Megan's dad, Des, celebrates a birthday tomorrow for New Year's Day. He knows how old he is tomorrow. I saw him yesterday. I said, how old are you going to be on New Year's Day? He said, I ain't telling you. So I asked Megan, his daughter, this morning, how old is your dad going to be on New Year's Day? And she said, I don't know. Happy birthday anyway, Des. 34 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. When we come back, everyone's entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion. And then we'll talk once again with Leslie Freitag and Carol Andre about Pybus Public Market, the place to be tonight for New Year's Eve. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
on 4 decades of doing business in the Wenatchee Valley. And I want people to know that it matters. It matters to me that people choose to do business with us. It matters that people trust us, trust us. That matters more than anything.
I'm Jake Carpenter, Vice President of Investor Relations for Equilus Group Incorporated and Equilus Capital Partners. We deliver solutions to challenges like how to use your retirement accounts to safely access income-producing real estate to avoid market risk, and how to defer capital gains tax without using a 1031 exchange. Discover your real estate and investment potential at Equilus. Call me today at 509-460-8700.
My awesome is being able to share my passion for yoga. I found yoga in my mid-40s to help me kind of de-stress and calm down, and it actually changed my life. Washington Trust believed in me. I felt like, okay, they got my back. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go for it. It actually makes you feel like more brave. I do have a lot of awesome in my life.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, we'll help you get there.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the Doghouse?
They may not be from you, but they're a part of your family. For many reasons, not all children are being raised by their parents. Are you a family member who has stepped in to help raise grandchildren, nieces, or nephews? Whether court-ordered or not, Aging and Adult Care may be able to assist you with many needs. Kinship Care helps keep family and community ties together. Learn more about Kinship Care by contacting Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, working together for a better quality of life for all.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently read a book about serious issues of domestic violence in our society. And now this is an issue close to me. I've been dealing with domestic abuse issues as a cop and as a therapist for most of my adult life. And at one point, the author of this book stated that Republicans didn't care about abused women because they didn't vote for some funding for domestic abuse victims programs. No, whoa, wait a minute. Now, isn't it possible that the politicians who didn't vote for these programs simply didn't believe that federal funds should be spent in that manner, not because they hated women? To make a derogatory conclusion about any politician because they don't feel that money should be spent on what you think money should be spent on is part of the divisive logic that's detrimental to mature problem thinking. Now, I have worked to stop domestic violence against women for decades, and I don't think all proposed programs in this area should be paid for by the feds. What does that make me, a woman hater? Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and that's my opinion.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Let Fitterers Furniture help you turn your dreams into reality with their exciting selection of quality furnishing and accessories. Whatever style you are looking for, you will find beautifully crafted furniture of exceptional value and the unmatched Fitterers customer service to make this shopping experience one you will keep coming back to. Make a point of visiting Fitterers Furniture in downtown Ellensburg.
Quality selection and service since 1896.
Some jobs take more than skill. They require something deeper, an innate devotion to the communities in which we live. At Giza Credit Union, we help you support law enforcement, firefighters, teachers, and veterans. With every purchase you make with a Giza Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little. With the Giza Local Heroes Affinity debit card.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs. Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Once again, once a month, we drop by to see our friends at South here at Pybus Puppet Market. We're in the upper floor. And, of course, we visit with Leslie Freitag from the Pybus Puppet Market, and a very special guest again this month. No stranger to our television family. Carol, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Carol Andre from Wenatchee Parks and Recreation.
And you're here for a very specific reason, and we're going to talk about that as we get into our conversation. First of all, Leslie, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you and all the Kuntz family.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us over the next few days. It's going to be a lot of fun. New Year's Eve here at the Pybus, and I've done this. I can say this for specifically because I did it. Is a blast. It's a really good time here.
It is, and this year we're upping our game just a bit. We have a live band, Water Dog, is coming to play. They haven't been here in a few years. We will still do 2 apple drops, so for from 7 to 9, we'll have family-friendly activities and games and some surprises for the kiddos.
Okay.
And the apple drop at 9 o'clock to coincide with New York and those of us who don't want to stay up quite so late.
That's me.
And then from 10 to midnight, we'll be back at it again for the late nighters with an apple drop at 12. From 7 to midnight, we will have a non-hosted bar, cash bar, at the south end of the concourse and dancing. And so we hope you make Pybus the place to hang out all evening long.
Now, the dancing's been around because we boogied till the cows came home a few years ago, but I don't remember the bar part.
We haven't had the bar, and that was really an opportunity because so many people come, they're waiting for their table at the restaurant, so you can come hang with us, or after your dinner, come down and dance and have another cocktail with us. So it'll be really a fun night.
And go ahead.
And we have great restaurants that'll be open that night. Here, South will be open, Fire and Ice will be open, as well as Pybus Bistro.
Oh, good.
Oh, and the Brew Pub.
And the Brew Pub.
And the Brew Pub, yes.
So I know what my plans are going to be for New Year's Eve.
Come hang with us. My team will all be here
celebrating
celebrating and ringing the new year in.
Of course, I've never made it to midnight, I don't know, in about 25 years. It's past my bedtime,
Well, some of us on the team got the short straw.
Carol, how you doing, sweetie?
Good,
I haven't seen you for a long time.
Oh, I know. It's been ages.
What's happening in Parks and Rec?
Oh, my gosh, so much. But what's happening at Pybus with Parks and Recs, in addition to our indoor playground, which is Monday through Thursdays, 9 to noon, for preschoolers to come play inside in the warmth, but we have our Bundle Up Festival happening on January 11th. So after the holidays, when families need something to do on a Saturday, they can come down here. We have a fun run in the park. We have hay wagon rides, s'mores, a petting zoo, and then we have 40 booths set up throughout the whole concourse and in the event center of youth activities. So from football to dance to drama, it's a one-stop shop for families to come get information, anything related to kids. So it's a win-win for mom, dad, and kids.
Yeah, and everybody gets cabin fever by the middle of January.
Exactly,
And
so they can
out.
play outside, come in, do some things inside. It's going to be great.
And that's all Parks and Rec. Who, by the way, your day thing here is is unbelievably popular.
It's wonderful.
It's been fun for us to have them here, and every day is more and more people are
It's
finding
our third year that we are been at Pybus. We were at the community center, and our numbers just weren't rocking it up there, and we decided for a venue change. And since we moved down here, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's awesome. Little kids everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's super cheap. It's super cheap.
It's $1 to come and have your kid play. We have all kinds of toys and activities for them, so moms can just get their coffee and watch their kids run around like maniacs, inside in the warmth. And
my guess is your staff probably loves to do that.
They do.
They probably really get a kick out of getting out of the office and getting down here.
We all kind of like kids.
Yeah. Well, I'm a former child myself, so I know.
Former.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The Mariner Caravan's coming back, is that right?
Yes, they are.
Good.
On January 7th, they'll be here, and they'll be spending from 4 to 5:15 in the concourse. Have a chance to visit with some of your favorite Mariners. We're not sure yet which players will be here, but as soon as we know their names, we'll certainly be announcing that. We're looking forward to it.
And we had last year, we had Marco Gonzalez, the former Apple Sock, was a part of the Mariner Caravan. That was fantastic.
Yes, so we're excited to have them back.
Yeah. And I've told this story before, and I think Leslie's heard this story. One of the wow factors about Pybus, this is where community meets. The Apple Sox had a home series last summer, and the team was staying at the Hilton Garden Inn. And they came down here just to say, what's this building? And they were all just like wide-eyed, saucer-eyed at this. They, well, this is cool.
That is the most fun part about being here, seeing people that from out of town that don't have any idea. They say, people tell them to come to Pybus Market. They don't know what to expect, and they do. They wander around. Just on Saturday, there was a group from Japan here, just wide-eyed, looking around, lots of pictures. And then they post nice things about you on Google.
Which is even nicer.
Expect this in our little town.
Expects this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we up to next? Oh, bridal shows.
Yes, we're attending a couple of bridal shows. We're doing Bella Sera and the Premier Collection show the January 4th and January 11th, and we're out really talking about our wonderful, beautiful event center, which is a perfect location for weddings. And so we really are trying to get the word out that we have a beautiful place. We have glass walls or nano wall doors that open up, and you can have part of your reception or the ceremony right out on the deck when the weather is good, 3 seasons out of the year. So we are really hoping that people learn more about what we have to offer at the event center.
And that's one of the best things that they did was when they took that gray concrete slab of an extra room that was almost an afterthought when they redid the Pybus, and they realized we got to do better than this, and they did.
Yes, we did, and it's hard to imagine that we did have events in it when it was a cold, dark, dreary place, and we did the best we could. But now we have it's warm. We have HVAC in there, and a fabulous sound system. So,
it's
great.
Well, if it can handle the Kuntz family, it can handle anybody. Anybody. We already talked about the Bundle Up Fest and Sports Fair, right?
Yes.
So what else we have coming up?
I want to highlight the Wenatchee World has started something new, and we've held 2 of these here. It's called Wenatchee World Live, and they're forums, and they're usually on the 3rd Wednesday of the month from 7 to 8 a.m. Mayor Frank was our first guest, and this month we're going to have them on January 15th, and they'll be talking about wolves and repatriating them back into Washington State and all of that. So that should be really an interesting discussion. So the Wenatchee World is doing this in partnership with Pybus, and we invite anybody to come down. We have a large crowd in the morning, and Cafe Columbia provides coffee and a few treats.
Yeah, my brother, he really enjoyed the first one. He and Russ Hemphill got up there on stage, and he had no idea what Russ was going to ask him.
And it was just very informal, but great informative discussion. People are able to ask questions, and it just makes everybody approachable, I think, in our small community.
Carol, while I have you here, what else is going on in Parks and Rec as we transition into a new decade? And
we are busily planning for the State Winter Games for Special Olympics. It's coming in March, so we'll have another 2,500 people or so in the Valley for the Special Olympics State Games. We've got all of our Winter Special Olympics sports going on. We're planning for our spring and summer already. So the pool and all of our summer day camps and sport camps.
I drove by the new park. Well, not the new park, the new old park.
Oh, Met Howe
Park. What a crown jewel for the South End.
Transformation.
Yeah.
It's going to be gorgeous. The restroom is arriving today. That park's first restroom ever. This is so exciting.
That is exciting.
It's so exciting. We run a wading pool program there every summer, and our poor little rec leaders have had porta potties for the last 30 years, and they're just thrilled. But there's a lot going on development-wise, the Saddle Rock projects and the Hale Park projects, and
it says to me, it says a lot about the health of a city that you can take large sections, large swaths of land within the city of Wenatchee and say this is going to be a park. We're not going to build anything. We're not going to develop anything. This is a park because parks knit communities together. We're talking about Pybus is where communities meet. Every neighborhood has a park.
Yes, and that's so important, and it's so well attended. And those parks are needed for folks that don't have the resources to go sign up for expensive camps and programs. They can go to their local park and have a wonderful time in a beautiful area, whenever they want. Open to the public, free, fun.
Yeah, it's hard to go play in your backyard when you live in an apartment.
Yes,
yes it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And our dog park, Hale Park dog park it's awesome. I love taking my dog down there. It's crazy busy, and they're happy dogs running everywhere. You know, who knew that we'd have a dog park down on the river, and it's
So
awesome.
are you going to have a quiet time at all, Carol, coming up, or is it just go, go, go?
No.
It just doesn't happen. So.
It's the life of Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services. We do have the arts program too. So
why do we get the Special Olympics Winter Games every year? Is it just because we're awesome, or because there's got to be other communities who want it, but they don't get it? We get it.
Exactly. We are the permanent host site, basically because of the proximity for cross-country skiing in Leavenworth, alpine skiing at Mission Ridge. We've got the Town Toyota Center for the speed skating and figure skating, and then we have 12 gyms in our valley that all are open to us, that we run all these sports simultaneously within a 30-mile radius. And there is no place else in the state that has that.
Yeah.
And they love our community. The athletes love coming here. The coaches and chaperones and volunteers love coming here. It's welcoming. It's consistent. The athletes know where it is every year. It's the same. They come here. They come and get things at ice. They just, it's a really happy place for them to be.
And no volunteers, it doesn't really happen. And I know there's a ton of volunteers that make it happen. I know a lot of service clubs are involved heavily in this.
We had close to 700 volunteers last year. If you think about it, we have 14 venue sites running simultaneously, plus we're feeding all these people, all the peripheral activities, the dances, the opening ceremonies. It's huge. And then we make lunches every day that go out to all the venue sites for all the athletes and chaperones and coaches. So we have 14 Kiwanis clubs, and it's not just local. They draw from the whole valley that make about 2,000 lunches every morning, and then they are shipped out to the sites, you know, just like clockwork. It's absolutely amazing.
That's a lot of lunch.
Oh, it's crazy. It is such, it's like a machine, a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
There's little kids in wagons pulling this box to this truck, and it's going over here. It's crazy.
Always the first weekend in March, if I remember correctly?
Always the first weekend. So it's February 28th this year.
Okay.
So we'll have a big opening ceremony down at Town Toyota Center again. The Seagulls and a few other surprises for the athletes. So it's going to be pretty good.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Leslie, while I have you here, what else is on your mind for January events here at the Pybus?
Just come and be with us.
Yeah.
It's a great place to gather, have coffee, hang out, because it's so cold outside. After you come down from Mission Ridge, come and stop by, have some dinner, get a beer at the brew pub.
Absolutely.
So, lots of exciting things going
It's
on.
always good to see you. And Carol, this was a nice surprise. I didn't know it was going to be you.
One more plug?
Yeah, please, Carol.
Since we're talking about Special Olympics, we always do the Polar Plunge as a fundraiser, and it's February 8th down at Walla Walla Point Park. So we will be jumping in the river yet again.
That's a Saturday, right?
It's a Saturday. Last year we had to pound out the ice with sledgehammers. We have a really funny video on our Parks and Rec Facebook page. But we raised close to $20,000 for our local Special Olympics. So if you're interested in participating, you know, just get a hold of me at Parks and Rec and I will hook you up.
We're all for it. We're all for it. Pybus is a great website, by the way. It has the calendar list of all the events that's going on. The city's website is that I forgot who my brother hired, but she does a great job to maintain the city website. She's phenomenal. It's a lot more user friendly than it ever was before.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I can actually find what I'm looking for.
And the Facebook page is really great, and there's lots of ways to access us.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we also have our very own app.
That's right, you do, and I haven't downloaded it yet. I got to do that.
You have to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got to do that. Carol, it's always good to see you.
You too.
Leslie, as usual.
Thank you, Dan.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
happy
Christmas.
holidays to everybody. Let's have a great 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
On to 2020.
Absolutely. Leslie Freitag, Carol Andre, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan Mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. See us at the Plaza in Chelan for all your holiday needs.
Reinventing FaceTime here at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, a new family-owned and operated business located in the heart of downtown Wenatchee. Owner Andrew Vickery brings forth years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spa. Let us help you add hydrotherapy to your already healthy lifestyle.
And we're back on this New Year's Eve edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. The sun is up. It came up officially. It crested the ridge at 7:48, so it's been up and running for about, 10 minutes or so. Now that it's bright enough to see around north central Washington, we'll take you around the valley one more time with our Valley View cameras so we can look at the clouds. And there we are. So that is, of course, the view from our cross camera at the end of Wenatchee Heights. An hour ago, it was pretty much like it is now. The only difference is you can see what's going on out there. And we're under the influence of overcast skies. We've been holding steady at 30 degrees, just as it was predicted yesterday. Very little temperature variation on Monday. We had the exact same weather on Sunday and on Monday with highs in we got 34 yesterday, and our overnight low was 31. So temperature just doesn't go anywhere when you have conditions like that. But things are going to change. It's going to be very mild today, tonight, and on New Year's Day, really right on into Thursday. Forecast details are coming up. So good morning to the Wenatchee Valley proper. I just stepped outside our studios here for a couple of minutes. Very light traffic out there. Of course, this is the quiet time of the year, the holiday season. A lot of people taking some time off, some downtime. I was just amazed about how few people are out and about on the main arterials in downtown Wenatchee. Camera number 2. I believe we're going to be using the same camera. So there's the Apple Annie's camera, again overlooking beautiful Kashmir. Still a little bit of residual snow there. Certainly some Mount Kashmir and certainly Mount Stewart, which is considerably higher in elevation. We could get a little bit of snow today, but whatever we get, going to be washing away because we got rain coming our way. Perhaps a pretty good dose of rain today and later on tonight. Forecast details are coming up, and again, very warm weather, very warm temperatures coming up for the next couple of days. Camera 3, I believe it's off to Valley High. It was snowing up there an hour ago. It's not snowing up there anymore. Good morning to our friends at Valley High on your way up to the summit of Blewett Pass. I'll also give you the latest pass report, by the way. Things have improved a great deal since the hour that we talked at the beginning of the show. That's coming up if you have travel plans. And finally, camera number 4. We're back to Rood Canyon. Again, I get a little bit more snow up there on Rood Canyon. It's the high overcast skies. Everybody looks like is going to get a little bit of rain. What happened is the system kind of did a little loop-de-loop. It hit the Cascade Crest, the lee, and it went up and around and dropped down into the Spokane area. And so we didn't really get the kind of snow we were expecting, but we're not quite out of the woods yet from the National Weather Service. Here's another look at your forecast. Again, look at those temperatures. What's going to happen today, we're going to get a little rain-snow mix, a little bit of snow, then it switches over to rain, and then by the time we get to about mid-afternoon, around 1:30 or 2, it will be all rain. And again, a high near 38 degrees. Whatever snow we get is going to be wet snow, a lot of water content in the snow. Perfect for snowball making, but it ain't going to stick around. Overnight low tonight, 35 with some rain until about midnight tonight, then the rain tapers off. You'll wake up tomorrow with some clouds and a little bit of light rain. But by the time the mid-morning comes around on New Year's Day, the sun will be popping out. Look at that high tomorrow, 45 degrees. The golf course beckons. A little on the breezy side tomorrow, by the way, with the west wind about 14 to 18 miles an hour. Wednesday night, slight chances of some light snow. Wouldn't bet on it, 28 for the overnight low. Another mild day Thursday, high of 38 with a little bit of rain possible. Friday, 42 degrees. Saturday, 42 degrees. We'll be right around 40 on Sunday and Monday. A mild start to the new decade. Real quickly to the mountain passes because we're almost out of time. Traction tires are advised on Stevens. That's it. There's I-90. Roadway is pretty much bare and wet. Stevens has a mixture of rain and snow. They have a traction tire advisory there. Traction tires are advised on Blewett Pass, although it's pretty much bare and wet. They are expecting some snow this morning and rain this afternoon. And that is it. Have a great and safe New Year's Eve. We're off tomorrow. We'll see you Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.